Hello students, welcome to a little tutorial on iMovie 10. We covered some of this in class, but I thought I'd do a video so that you could have a reference to look up if you needed it. First thing, when you import footage, you import them into events. This is similar to the way iMovie used to work. When you import footage, the footage is going to go into whichever event is selected up here at the top. By default, it will go to the last event that you used. So if you keep importing footage without specifying an event that makes sense for this, you're going to have this big giant folder of footage which doesn't make sense. The old iMovie kind of automatically made events based on the dates and things, and that was nice, and this one doesn't so much, which I don't really like, but that's how it is. So if you're going to import, you want to go to New Event. You can click on New Event, make your event title, import your footage into there. I'm not going to import any footage right now because I already have it imported. It's the stuff we used in class the other day. Next, after we have footage imported, which right now is in Updated Projects, you see that's down here, now we're going to create a new project. Alright, no theme. We're going to call this Demo iMovie 10. Alright, here's our new project. You can see we have a blank project down here on the bottom. We have all of our footage up here. And so we want to start adding footage. So we're going to select a portion of the footage. And a couple options here. You can drag it down. You can just hit the plus button, which is right there. Or you can hit the E key on your keyboard. That's what I'm going to do because that's what I'm used to from Final Cut. E will add whatever clip is selected up here to the end. So you'll see if I grab another one and hit E, it adds it to the end. And if I grab another one and hit E, it adds it to the end. Okay, another shortcut, keyboard shortcut, Command minus will zoom out from your timeline. Command plus will zoom in. That's kind of handy. And something I figured out just this afternoon, something that Final Cut has, that iMovie now has, is the ability to play back at faster than normal speed or slower than normal speed. If I hit the spacebar, you know the video will start playing. If I hit the L key, right, J, K, and L, if you look down at your keyboard, J, K, and L are what a lot of video editors use for backwards is J, stop is K, and L is forwards. So if we hit L, it's going to start playing this forward.
What it's doing, it's making
Okay, now I'm going to go back to the beginning here. This time I'm going to hit L twice.
too fuzzy. What it's doing, it's making everything fuzzy.
So you can hear it's preserving the pitch, but it's making the video play back twice as fast. If we go back to the beginning here, we can play it back slowly. Oh, not slowly. We can play it back reverse too. This can be helpful sometimes. So J, K, and L will do that. All the settings for this footage is up here under Adjust. You can adjust, there's some auto settings. Here we have the exposure, right? Down here is our shadows, right? We can boost our shadows, or we can make them darker, make them lighter, darker, lighter, darker, right? Pretty easy. The highlights are up here. We can make the highlights brighter. We can bring the highlights down. And then in the middle we have the mids. We can bring the mids up. We can bring the mids down. And also by grabbing this, you can see it adjusts both at the same time. It kind of is like adjusting the contrast, right? Basically, it's adjusting the relationship of the mids to the highlights and the shadows. Next to this, we have saturation. Right, saturation is color. How much color? So if we push the saturation way up, you can see all the colors get more intense. Bring it down, the color goes away, you end up with like black and white. Next, we have the white balance. We can go to the blue, we can go to the yellow. Kind of a crude white balance adjustment, but if your white balance is way off and you need to make a little fine tuning, you can do it there. Next, we have crop. Crop, if you hit fit, it will automatically fit whatever clip you put in to the project size. In this case, doesn't really do anything. Crop allows you to basically zoom in. That's basically what you're doing here. When we accept this crop with the check mark, it zooms in. Next, we can actually I want to go back here and undo this crop. All of these effects have a little undo button right here too. Next, remove camera shake. So this clip actually has a little bit of shake to it. A little bit of wobble. So we're going to see how it does fixing that. So I click the checkbox and now we wait for it to process. Okay, now it is done, so we're going to go back and play this and see how it looks. little bit better. We can even crank this up a little bit more, and you'll see it zooms in because it needs to zoom in order to stabilize that shake.
What it's doing, it's making everything.
Pretty smooth. Looks good. All right. Okay, under our audio settings, we have the ability to raise and lower the volume of the clip. You can also do that down here in the clip, right? If you click on this little bar, you can raise it. You can lower it. We're going to do that in a minute. There's also lower the volume of other clips. That's if you have multiple clips stacked on top of each other and you want to sort of dynamically adjust the volume on the fly. There's not a lot of cases where you're going to use that. Most of the time you're just going to do it manually by adjusting the clip volume. One other little tip about the volume here is you can add keyframes or points within this clip where you can make volume adjustments. So if I hold the Option key and hover over this bar, this volume adjust bar that I adjusted just a minute ago, and click, I can make little points in here, and then I can take those points and I can adjust just those points. So if there's a sound in my clip I want to get rid of, I can do that.
What it's making everything fuzzy.
Alright, let's undo that. And next up here in our adjustments, we have reduce background noise and equalizer. Reduce background noise can be helpful. Use it with caution. Sometimes it will make the foreground sound, generally voice is what you want. It's going to make it sound really thin and kind of weird. Equalizer, not a lot of adjustability here, just some presets. You might be able to use one of these presets to help out your audio, but there's no substitute for audio recorded right the first time. Hum reduction, that's just going to take out low frequencies. So you're going to lose a little bit of the fullness of a voice there if you take out the low frequency. But if there's like a really loud like fan or something humming in the background that is a low frequency, that can be a good tool to use. Next on our list we have video and audio effects. Pretty self-explanatory. We have things like
Too fuzzy.
romantic,
What
dream, glow,
making
H-film,
everything
film
fuzzy.
grain, and when
Too
you hover over
fuzzy.
these, they preview
What
live,
it's
so
doing,
that's pretty cool.
It's
Cancel, we don't want to do any of that. Audio effects, many of you know about these. Change the pitch, add reverb.
too fuzzy.
One more effect that doesn't show up here unless you have multiple clips stacked on top of each other. And let's go ahead and do that just so we can see what that looks like. Now that we have this clip stacked on top of here, we get this new button, and this is the overlay options, how it deals with this clip stacked on top. There is cutaway, which cutaway will, when you get to this clip,
Fuzzy. What it's doing,
it will cut to it. That's pretty much the same as just having it in line like as an edit. Not really anything special there. Green or blue screen, if you have a green screen, you can see when I did that it took out the green that was here on the screen. Go back here. Watch this computer screen here, and I do green screen. Takes that out and replaces it with whatever image is behind it. Next on here is side by side. That'll put our pictures side by side. Pretty self-explanatory. And you can decide how they are arranged. And lastly is picture in picture, where you get a picture in a picture. Now, earlier I had a project where I was using a crop and a picture in picture together, and it did not like that, and it was really, really buggy. But there you have it. You can add a border around here. You can add a drop shadow. You can do all kinds of stuff. Next, transitions. We're going to put these clips back to back here. You want to transition between two clips, you put a transition between them. If you click on the transition, you can go up here to info, and you can change the duration of that to, let's say we want it to be 2.0 seconds. And now our transition
Everything
is 2
fuzzy.
seconds.
But it's not that smart.
Okay, now here is something else that may be of value. If you have multiple transitions, and I want to go back up to my videos here, and I'm going to add this clip in here, and I'm actually just going to add this. I already have this in and out point selected up here, so I'm just going to hit E a couple times to add a few instances of that clip to my timeline. Now I'm going to go back to transitions, and I am going to put in a regular cross dissolve in here, and in here, and here, and now I'm going to command click on all these transitions. And you'll see if I go up here to info, I can change the duration of all of those simultaneously. So I can say 0.5 seconds, and now all those transitions are half a second long, right? So this is something that's new to iMovie 10, being able to adjust multiple things at one time. This also works with clips. So if I go in here and I select all these clips, I can go up here to my color adjustment, and I can make a color adjustment that will affect all of those clips at the same time. So let's just say, let's just like way oversaturate this and make it like a goofy color of yellow. Now when we go back and play,
It's making everything fuzzy.
those changes were made to every clip. This is really cool because now you can adjust settings for multiple clips and do color corrections and things like that really, really quickly. And this is something that only Final Cut had before. iMovie didn't have this. This is nice to have. Okay, next, here's what we're going to do. We're going to delete everything out of here, and we're going to go back up to our project, and we're going to start over. Because what I have is this clip of Mr. Gonzalez, and he is talking. And down here, I have the audio of him talking. And what I want to do is I want to synchronize these. So, let's see what he's saying here at the beginning of this clip.
Of this. I'm zooming back out.
Zooming back out, that's what we're looking for.
Under view, I could do overlay. Overlay is basically like quick math. Section, it says refine edge. This is the magic part of this. I'm zooming back out.
Alright, so right there is where he says zooming back out. So that's where I want to start. Alright, so what I can do here is increase the volume of this clip below to make the waveform a little bit bigger. And also if I click this button right here, I can make this clip size bigger, which will actually make these waveforms a lot easier to see. And now that makes it easier for me to compare this waveform to that one and try to figure out where they line up. I'll zoom in a little bit here.
Yeah, it doesn't look that good right now.
You can see how the waveforms line up. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this volume in this top clip and I'm going to turn it to 0. I'm going to launch this back and see
All these tools
how
right
they
here.
line up.
First, yeah, it doesn't look that good right now. Under
Alright, we got it. Now, if it was off a little bit, the other thing that they added here is they added the ability to nudge. So if I use the period or the comma key, I can move this bottom clip one frame to the left or to the right. Very helpful in syncing up audio. And you can hear if we play these side by side.
right here. First, yeah, it doesn't look that good right now. Under view,
So I'm nudging
notice
it one
if
frame.
I click on that, I could do marching ants, which
And now they're synced up. So now we can cut this volume on this other clip. And now we have our sounds synced up.
first, yeah, it doesn't look that good right now.
And with a video like this, where we have some B-roll clips like this clip of Mr.
Do it on
Gonzalez
black.
It's magic.
using the mouse and the keyboard.
Magic.
Well, we don't want the audio for this, so we're going to pull that down.
Do it on black.
And we're just going to have the illusion that this happened while he was
Quick
talking,
mask,
right?
which gives you like that red. I want to do it on black because that's actually going to show me more of.
And if we want to grab the screen from the wall and put that up here, well, we also don't want the sound from that either.
This, right? And it's going to say, okay, you want to increase.
And we want to put some transitions between there. So we'll click on our transitions and we'll grab the transitions that we want. And Mr. Osborne just walked in the room.
No, I didn't.
Here's what's going on right now in this very room. This is like an old school PSSA video. Okay, now last things that we're going to do here. Titles, adding some titles. A lot of these titles are fixed, meaning that you can't edit the font size or the font or anything. You just can edit the text and that's it. Some of them you can edit. You'll just have to go around and play around. If you want one that you can edit the font, you'll have to go around and find one that works. Let's add this one here, just as demo. You can click on this and you'll see this one. Font is grayed out. Can't edit that one, but that's okay because we're just going to put a title right here. And And now we will go accept that, and now we play this back.
Yeah, it doesn't look that good right now. Under view.
Oh, look, there's a title right there. Okay, great. Other little things. You see when I hover over this bar at the bottom where the audio is, there's a little dot at the front end. That is so you can add a fade in if you so desire.
All these tools right here. First.
All right, we can also stretch this back out to the beginning. And you can also do that to the end. We'll shorten this too, right there, a little bit longer. One thing I want to talk about quick is something I see in your video submissions a lot. A lot of times you will submit videos that end like this.
Made it look somewhat real.
Right in the middle of a sentence or some sound, like it's hard cut and done. Okay, that's not good, right? So what we're going to do here for this one, to get rid of that, we're going to stretch this audio out a little bit. Look at the waveform here. The waveform is the shape of the audio that you can see in here. How he ends a sentence right here. Okay, so that's a good place to fade out.
Right?
There we go. And that will just add some black to the end automatically because there's no video there. So
and made it look somewhat realistic, right?
We probably want a little fade out there.
And made it look somewhat realistic, right?
Alright, there's our video. Now we need to get it exported. We use the share button. There's no export option anymore. So you go to share, you pick where you want to go. Almost all the time we're going to go to YouTube. So I'm just going to go ahead and send this to YouTube as well, like we always do. You can select whether you want it private, unlisted, or public. Private's fine, unlisted's fine. Don't make it public unless you want it to be something that anybody can search for and find on YouTube. In general, the stuff that we do for class we don't want. If you think you want something public, just check with me first. Size, do we want an HD 720? Generally, you know, if you took the time to shoot and took the file space to shoot in high def, like 1080, then export it in high def. I've seen several projects uploaded to YouTube that were shot on the T2Is in 1080p, and then they get uploaded to YouTube at like 240, and it's this little tiny grainy thing. Well, why'd you bother going through all this if you're going to export it as 240? It doesn't make sense. Export it as big as you can. Category doesn't really matter. You can change the title here, demo iMovie 10, and I'm going to say Mr. Good so that I know it's the one that I did and I don't think it's one that you did and accidentally give you credit for doing something that you didn't do. Add to theater. I actually don't know what that is yet, so we're not going to check that. And we're going to go to next. It's going to ask me for the password. Alright, now we'll hit publish. And up here is the little indicator that will show us the progress of our video. As this circle fills up, that is how much of our video is done. Alright, our video was successfully uploaded. Now we can either go to visit or close. We're going to close it. And now we are done.